Hello friends and followers, welcome back to TJ's Modeling Bench. I'm finishing up on one of my two Saturday night short track group builds. The other one, I'm running into some issues with the engine fitment on that one, so that one's probably not going to get finished for a little while yet, but this Ford here is coming along pretty good. I've got to do some work on the hood portion of that. I had to cut off the scoop that went on there because this air cleaner sticks up too high for that hood, so we just cut it off. We're gonna have a big square hole in the hood anyway. But since that's coming to an end, I've got some other projects I want to get started, and one of those happens to be the Cord Convertible from Pyro. So let's take a minute and look through this kit and see what it's going to give us. See just how much work we're going to have to do to make this a contest-worthy car. As I said, I picked this up at ACME, the ACME Southern Nationals in October up in Cartersville, Georgia, from one of the vendors. Obviously, it's been opened before, but taking a look in the box, we've got our instructions, which are okay. Nothing really complicated. A little old-fashioned, of course, compared to some of today's stuff, but not bad. Pretty simple painting instructions on it. Black, silver, red. We'll probably go a little more in-depth with our colors on this. Does it say what year this came out? I don't see it on the box anywhere. Don't happen to see anywhere on the instructions that gives a year on it. So I'm sure I could look it up somewhere and find out when this was produced. All right, chrome parts, these will definitely get stripped. Window frame, hood insert, the dashboard, and I've already downloaded some detail photos for me to use while trying to complete this. So on the dash, where the gauge cluster, that whole center gauge cluster, that is done with an aluminum that they burnish. I forget what that's called. Where they do the circular little swirls in it. And then everything else around that is body color paint, not counting our gauges. And that is one thing this kit does not have, is decals for gauges. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to source those or attempt to paint those by hand, which I'm sure I could do it. Not sure that I really want to. Anyway, so there's one chrome piece. All right, this one has our bumpers and the two engine halves and our exhaust hoses. And if you're not familiar, the cord, this particular cord, was a front drive vehicle, front wheel drive vehicle. So this would actually be the front of the engine. That's where your front axle goes through. Definitely old plastic. All right, here is our rear trunk section. Fenders, those are probably front fenders there. These skirts, these may actually be a part of the front area. All right, this piece has come off. This is also part of our hood. All right, on the 1-to-1, these are louvers that are open. I don't think I'll be able to open those, but we'll take a look and see. Not bad looking though. I'm gonna leave that in the box for now. And then our other fender flare pieces, steering wheel, radiator, seat back. This is another part of the front suspension area. This is our drive shaft with a big old divot in the middle, but this area here will be inside of our engine part, so you'll never see that anyway. Some kind of framework for the suspension, not necessarily an A-frame like we have today. And then a spring, some kind of a box spring. Door cards, exterior door cards. Interior, yeah, somewhat lacking in detail. It does have a window crank and a door handle, though they're very minimal. And then, of course, you've got your punch marks from where it was released from the mold. The door handles are not quite accurate for scale, so we may address that and try to make those more scale looking. So I definitely need to do some work on the interior for sure. More bumper, front and rear parts there. That's actually the spring portion of the bumper. So it really goes behind, the bumper goes on this side of it. There's our hood with a little bit of flash on it. Some ejector pin marks on the interior side of it. Here's our rear suspension. So that other spring must have been for the front of the suspension. Wheel backs. All right. Chassis and interior tub pan. 1955. That's what we've got right here. Pyro Plastics Corporation, 1955. All right, a few ejector pin marks on this, a little bit of flash. Oops. Nothing that we can't take care of, I don't think. This is our bench front seat. This, I believe, is the bench rear seat. The cowl panel in front of the windshield. Our front seat backs. And more floor pan. So it looks like floor pan with, yeah, areas for your pedals. I'm not real sure what's going to go there. And then our tires, which are, they are a rubberized plastic, I guess. What is that, vinyl? I suppose vinyl is probably what they really are. They don't look bad. They will get a wide white wall painted to them. Yeah, those don't look bad at all. Might need to clean them a little bit. There's that part that fell off. And then our windshield. All right, this is going to need some attention. Looks like we might have a burn mark in it there. Some smudges on it. I don't think that's anything that some Tamiya clear polish can't take care of as well. So overall, a pretty basic kit. Not a whole lot of detail to these automobiles, but I think we can make a pretty good looking car out of this when it's all said and done. So that's going to do it for this week. This coming weekend is JaxCon in Jacksonville, Florida, and I will be going to that. I'm actually taking Thursday and Friday off. I know registration check-in is actually Friday evening, so I'm making it a little mini vacay and going down a day earlier than that, so maybe I can find something to do on Friday during the day before going over to the show center to get registered. But if you're there in Jacksonville this coming weekend, look for me. Love to meet you. Anyway, till the next time, y'all. Peace and love.